You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
It all sounds like some bad movie.
And I have to point out too that Joey and I are such geeks. During the episode, I see that he's on the cam, so we just start holding up our notebooks to each other. So, see, I got 2 pages. See, I got 2.5 pages.
Yeah, I got 1, 2.5.
You got me beat by a half, but I kind of gave up in the last half hour because I was just so.
Well, you know what all right, we're gonna get into it now.
Right.
I have.
Oh yeah.
Every time I saw a vertical line, I wrote it down.
Well, but you can't do that because again, like when you saw The Ring, remember The Ring, and so he would have scenes where there were like circles in the scene, and those scenes were actually well crafted and well.
This wasn't though.
No, because it's an 11 is just 2 lines. You can see that everywhere.
Yeah, but they go through great lengths, dude. Come on.
I'm seeing 11s everywhere. That's because you're seeing lines everywhere, jackass. The world's made of them.
Yeah, I know, but they go through great lengths to point out those things. So
yeah.
But all right, let's do the basic premise for this movie.
Can I read the description on? All right, the IMDb description. After the death of his wife and child, an author travels to Barcelona to see his estranged brother and dying father, where he learns that his life is plagued by events that occur on 11/11/11.
Yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell.
I did some research. Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna start off with the beginning of the film.
Well, before that's too soon. I did some research.
All right.
Apparently, there's some alternate titles to the film.
Okay.
It takes place on 11. It takes place on 11/11/11, right? But it's by the director of Saw 2, 3, and 4. So one of the titles they were floating around was I, and IV. They kind of tie in with Saw. Now, then of course, this led them to the idea of having the film title in Roman numerals, which would have been XI. Mm-hmm. Combining all the 11s to save on marquee space, just calling it 33. But then that'd be close to 23, that other horror film about an obsession about a reoccurring number.
Right. So
then they thought of 11 cubed, but that ties in too much to pi cubed and aliens cubed. Then one of the best reviews I saw, I did some quick research to see the bad reviews.
Right.
And my favorite one was, I forget who did it, but they said, this time, 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 doesn't add up to 2. Which is ironic because one of the other titles they were thinking of was just 222.
Oh, really?
With there's like a bunch of algebraic equations you could do instead of the title 11/11/11.
Yeah.
Now they also think of it this way: you're making a film where people have to stand in line and say, "I like a ticket for 11/11/11, please." How stupid do I feel just saying 11/11/11 now?
And I think that's the biggest reason why Cloverfield wasn't called 11808.
Yeah, right?
Do you remember the marketing for that?
I remember that.
And although I wouldn't have minded it being called 11808, because I think at the time when Cloverfield was all the marketing and the hype and everything, it was going to be released. The movie was going to be called 11808 because it was going to be released on 11808.
Right.
And everything that took place in the film was happening on 11808. And I think one of the things that they were going to do was they were going to make it in real time when, like, for instance, at the party, because he's having this big going away party, and it's like closer to midnight, And I think on opening night, it was supposed to, when the monster actually attacks the city,
right,
it was going to be after midnight or 12:01 or whatever it is, and then from that point to the rest of the film, in real time.
Now, also,
I think it was going to be a pretty neat marketing gimmick for the film, but they canned it because they were smarter than that. They were smarter than using the date of the movie being released as its marketing gimmick.
And they were also smarter too. This refers back to a discussion we had earlier about how shitty movie titles are recently.
Right.
Now, if they went by the Tower Heist method of naming films, they would have called it Monster, or Night of Terror, or Manhattan Falls, something.
Demons in Your House.
They would have described
Demon
the
House.
film.
They would have called it Demon House.
Would have described the film, right? Instead, they called it Cloverfield, which is innocuous, has nothing to do with what's going on per se, and it has like a minor tie-in with the film, but is a genius title. That's how they name like books of poetry. They just take like a random line out of the poetry and they put it. It's called artistic. It's called nuance.
I've never actually found out why the movie was called Cloverfield. There was all these rumors and speculation, like
it's at the end.
What is?
It's at the end when they get caught in the park. They call it the Cloverfield tape. I think it's because it's like a Cloverfield that they find the tape in, something like that.
One of the things that I read that I like, that I don't even know if it's true, is because they drop a nuclear bomb on the area, or a bomb to like to level it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I read, and I don't even know if this is true, is that after something like that, it's common for clover to grow where something like a bomb had gone off. Like it does something to the earth, like to the dirt and the ground.
Well, it's also the first
that it causes clover to grow.
Well, also after deforestation, that's the first stage of. See, I actually did learn something in my environmental class. After deforestation, that's like the first stage of the regrowth. It's stuff like clover and grass before you get to bushes and
so I think that's.
But regardless,
I like that one the most.
The genius title.
Yeah, I think so. Sure.
Right. So speaking of genius titles, 11/11/11. Release date 11/11/11.
Yes.
That's odd, isn't it?
Movie takes place on 11/11/11.
But after you, sir, how does this film open?
It opens with him. Well, you don't know it's a dream sequence, but he's having a dream about his house burning and his wife and child dying in said burning house.
Right.
And the first thing that I have is a note, because the wife sees her son at the other end of the hallway trying to get closer to her and screaming in pain because he's on fire, and she just kind of watches it, and because she feels like she can't do anything about it.
She panics. She freezes.
She panics and she freezes. Well, I'll tell you something. I'm not a new father. Hey, listen.
Here we go.
Well, no. It's not and this truly actually isn't a knock against the film. It's just a knock against go after your goddamn kid. I would have absolutely fucking run through fire to get my child. I'm not going to sit there and watch my child die, and I'm just going to run across that fucking hallway, grab my kid, and go back the other way, or figure out another way out. I know that that's not what I should be shitting on.
No, sir.
But
this film has already harmed us. Let's not let it make it personal.
Okay.
Don't let the film get you personally, sir. That's where it all ends.
Yeah, you're right.
Speaking from someone who has just proven that he can stay detached and not take things personally.
All right.
That's your first note?
That is that's my first note. My second note is he goes to a meeting. Well, he's visited by his agent, who basically says, is this your next book? And he's looking at his diary. And he's like, no, that's personal. That's my diary. He goes, well, I already pitched it.
Batman.
Yeah, I've already pitched it. He's saying, you've sold over 5 million books. I think you would have gotten a better place to live in, and you got to get out of this room, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so what we have here is 5 minutes of solid exposition.
Yep.
All right,
yep.
Speaking of bad fucking screenwriting, in the first, my first note is famous troubled writer, crying at picture frame, popping pills, messy room, talking to the tombstones, messy apartment. Agent comes in extolling virtues of how well you write and you should keep writing. Could the first 5 minutes be any more ham-fisted?
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Every cliche in the book is forced in this first 5 minutes. I feel like I'm watching the opening, The End of Days, when Schwarzenegger like makes the milkshake out of a piece of stale pizza. Obviously this guy's in a rough spot.
Yeah, it almost this movie, entire film, because it also deals with
it's a remake of End of Days.
Everything. It really does feel that way in a lot of ways. But it just, he ends up at a meeting for other people that have lost loved ones, and
grieving counseling kind of thing. Yeah,
right. And he kind of gets up and walks out because this one woman is talking about, I believe it's her husband. And she meets him outside, and she recognizes him and tells him, "Oh, you're an author, this and this and that. You have so many words, great words to say, but you don't use them," because she wanted him to get up and talk. So he gets in his car, and he kind of, in really poor slow motion, sees his kid, and she knocks on the window and hands him what is basically a journal. You just turn your video off?
Yeah, you're starting to slow down on me a bit. If you could turn yours off.
Okay. All right.
You're lagging. You're lagging a little bit on me, and I think it might be that.
All right. Got it.
Now, can I interject on this?
Sure.
She comes out to talk to him, right? It's like, "Oh, I know you," and everything. Now, first of all, he starts talking about, I have no faith, and I don't, there's just no God. It's like the second or third time in the first 5 minutes he says that there's no God. So,
is this not to interrupt you, but is this a Christian film?
I don't think so.
Because
I don't think
it is really, really heavy on the religion
and
having faith and all of that.
But I think it's only because it's important for the plot twist, which we'll talk about later.
Okay. So,
another man who loses his faith in God due to a personal tragedy. Another original concept given to us, and also she says, when he says, well, it was like, well, you found faith in God. It was like, no, I didn't find God. I met a man, and he convinced me that we have destiny. It's like, all right, can I make a prediction here? I guarantee that this woman's in on something, and the man is like, okay, I know how this film ends. That line, I know how this fucking film ends. I have to sit through this now, knowing how this film ends. First of all, we know there's going to be something about his faith, right? Because we've only been slapped across the face repeatedly about his sudden lack of faith, right?
That's right. Now, you had IM'd me today, and said, write down when you figured out when how it ends.
Right. Is that the line?
And actually, I'm about a half an hour in.
Okay.
I'm about a half an hour in.
Now I'm not saying I could tell you word for word by that point, but by that point, I know she's
a half an hour in, I knew how it ends, and 60 minutes in, it sealed the deal. I'm like, all right, that's it. But
the minute he starts talking about, like, the third time he mentions he doesn't believe in God outright. Right. Oh, and by the way, having the main character as an author and then having him narrate.
Oh yeah, I wrote down one of my notes is, why is this movie talking to me?
That's gonna be the chapter in the book in our book. Why is this movie talking?
That's right. Why is this movie talking to me? This and this goes in the book, absolutely.
And again, it's like, there's nothing worse than a film that has a writer as a main character, and outside of maybe Stand By Me, and then having the writer narrating the movie as something he's writing. Oh fucking God! Here's a screenwriter. Here's a screenwriter who really can't figure out how to communicate anything beyond exposition.
Now, you told me not to harp on the 11 stuff.
Well,
because the movie's called 11-11-11.
It could get monotonous, so try to stay.
Well, here's the thing.
I know what you're going to say.
You do know what I'm going to say?
I think I know. When they're talking outside the building on the bricks, they purposely put more separations between the bricks, so they don't mortar bricks that close together.
Right. Well, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's scenes when he's in Barcelona, Spain, and the wallpaper, it's vertical wallpaper. But, I mean, there is a lot of that. But it was one thing that I noticed numerically in the film. They tried to get 11s at you a lot that way, too. Like, for instance, at his apartment. Do you know what his apartment number was?
It wasn't 11.
It was 713.
Yeah.
7 plus 1 plus 3 is 11.
Now, see, I was being a smartass. Like, shouldn't the apartment be number 11?
No. 7 plus 1 plus 3 is 11.
All right.
All right, there's that.
Yeah.
When he gets the call for his dad, he's dying,
Uh-huh.
was at 11:11.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that right after he walks into his apartment, he gets that call, and it's like, okay, they're going to fucking slap 11 at me, even if it's in his apartment number 713. They're going to just slap the living shit out of you with 11.
Mm-hmm. And it gets to the point too when you're watching the film, like you realize at a certain point that Mr. what's his name again? This Jagoff. Jagoff is my word for the day, by the way.
Oh,
I'm enjoying Jagoff so much. I'm just going to say it again.
You know, another thing that I noticed
Mr.
about
Mr. Bausman.
Bausman.
The writer-director, Darren Bausman.
Oh, yeah.
You hit a point where you realize every time there's a scene with like a doorway,
Mm-hmm.
you're like you could see him like touching himself. Like, look at another 11. I got another 11 in there. So, no, you didn't.
Oh, yeah.
You got 2 lines.
Right. Well, there's like a scene in the film where he's running through a maze, and they have this overhead shot. It's all lines. It's all 11s.
What's 11?
But I'm not going to even get into that. Another thing that I noticed as far as 11 goes, the character's name, Joseph Crone.
Yeah.
11 letters.
Of course.
His brother, Samuel Crone, 11 letters. Jesus Christ, 11 letters.
Okay, you're scaring me because you were looking for the 11s much more than I was.
Well, the thing is, once I saw it happen the first time, it just kept coming. I mean, I wasn't looking for it, and it was just hitting me left and right. You're concerning
me. You're concerning me because honestly, I gave up on the 11s after he walked by the room 111 at the hospital. I was like, you know what? I'm fucking done. We get it. But you're counting letters and names. You're scaring me.
Well, okay, when he's in the hospital and he's walking out of the hospital,
Yeah.
or he's walking by and he sees the demon in the glass of the doorway.
You know what?
That was room 111.
I know. That's when I gave up.
I mean, it's just, dude. In the first 5 minutes, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I felt that way with the dialogue and everything. Now, all right, now wait.
Well, it's not like I didn't have
I
a
know
problem with the dialogue. It was either 11s or fucking crosses everywhere. Like in the father's bedroom, he's in bed, on his deathbed. They purposely pulled the shades down on those windows, just enough so that they were in the shape of, because it was like take your standard window,
Yeah.
and it was straight down and across as far as the separation of the glass.
So it looked like crosses.
They pulled the shades down just far enough so that it would look like crosses.
Yeah. This is like, you know, The Exorcist, the movie The Exorcist.
Sure.
With
Everybody
the
does.
in-depth like theological imagery and metaphors.
Right.
11 is like The Exorcist, except stupid, poorly written, and boring. If Mr. Bausman had written The Exorcist, yeah.
There were other things I noticed too.
Well, I need to backtrack for a minute.
Go for
Only
it.
because I'm still at the opening scene.
Yeah, you are.
Well, because I need to make a couple more points. Because again, this is when the first half hour.
No, that's fine.
The first half hour is when I really start hating the film, and after the woman who we automatically know is in on something,
Right.
gives him the book and walks away, and then we have that low budget. Okay, we're gonna follow her, and there'll be a crash. So we don't have to film the crash. We can just have cars waiting for us. The guy was parked, pulled away half a block, and somehow the cars flipped.
Flipped upside down. I know. I thought the same thing. I'm like, how did that type of accident happen?
Now,
Mere, yards away.
right. So then we have to see him in the hospital with more voiceover. Now as doctor. So now we're mixing voiceovers. Please don't fucking mix voiceovers. Keep one narrator. So the
Right.
doctor's saying things like, "Wow, you really must have a guardian angel.
You should give him a raise.
You should give your guardian angel a raise." The other guy, he wasn't so lucky. This guy drove a half a block from a parking spot in the city before getting hit, and the doctor's talking to him like he's Bruce Willis after the train wreck in Unbreakable. The car tipped on its side. He's like, I don't believe in God, and I walked away from this. First of all, yeah, we get it. You don't believe in God. Enough with the fucking I don't believe in God stuff. You drove. There's no way.
They pound that into the ground.
There is no. Please, there is no way.
Yeah.
You're dying in a car wreck, a half a block. I don't care. It's the city. No one's going fast enough to flip a car.
And the car that hit him too wouldn't have flipped over another car.
It was just.
It's not an SUV. If he was driving an SUV, I could possibly see that being on its back. You know, because those tend to do that.
Right.
But he's just a regular, Hyundai Elantra, whatever it was. It's just those things don't usually flip on its back, unless you're getting hit by an SUV, which he wasn't hit by an SUV either.
Yeah.
So it just,
How come,
yes, you're right. Not even a half a block away. I would even say closer than that.
How come I walked away without a scratch? Because you were going 10 miles an hour.
So, okay, moving on from that point.
Oh.
He does get the call from his brother.
Right.
That his father is dying and that he doesn't expect him to come to Spain, but he ends up going there anyway.
Right. Now, also, before he goes to Spain, too, between his agent and the woman outside the grief counseling and the doctor, thank God this movie keeps reminding me that this character's a famous writer. Yeah. Because I probably would have forgotten. Literally every 5 minutes, but you're a world famous author. You have millions of followers. And again, they hit you over the head. But words have meaning, and you can motivate people, and you have a legion of fans. You have a lot of followers. I get it.
Well, they do that because of how they twist the plot twist.
Well, yeah, you can say plot twist. It doesn't make it a plot twist.
No, it isn't.
Right. But again, it's so blatant. It's like, all right, can you stop saying this? Because in the first 15 minutes, he lays it on so thick and heavy. It's like, all right, you could have gotten away with it if you didn't fucking rub my nose in it. Like I soiled the carpet. I'm not the one that soiled the carpet, sir. Don't rub my nose in it. It is you. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. He goes to Barcelona. Oh, his brother's a priest. I didn't see that coming.
You know what I didn't see coming?
What?
Them speaking English the whole time.
Well, you do that in Spain.
Oh, yeah, sure. And everyone that comes to a sermon all speak English, too.
Except the guy that has something to say. Except the guy that has something to say. He has to talk in Spanish. Everyone else speaks fluent English. It's
just, are you kidding? And Joseph, the famous writer, he gets in a cab and he's like, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish, even though he was born in or he wasn't born there, but he was brought to Spain and grew up there as a kid.
Right.
How do you not speak Spanish?
Or at least know how to say, take me here.
Right.
Like that. Now, also, so when we meet the brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's in a wheelchair.
Yes, he is.
Okay, hands up. The number of people who see that and go, I bet you he walks at the end. Hands up. No hands down? Everyone guessed that? Okay.
No, everybody's hands are up.
I'm just checking. I wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
Okay, good.
Okay. Speaking of pages, I'm done with my first page of notes. Oh, except for when he starts doing the research on the web.
Right.
For the 11-11-11 cult. Please tell me the logic in having a world famous author who writes every day, a very literate, accomplished writer, who has to read aloud to himself when he's looking at a web page. Again, screenwriter doesn't know how to convey stuff without telling us.
Right.
Mr. Exposition. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. So he finally ends up at the house. And for some, you know what? Because it was just, they were hitting you over the head with it so often. I really thought that the house number was going to be a combination of like the 713, like it was going to be 173 or something like that, or some combination of numbers to make it equal 11, and they didn't do it. So I was kind of disappointed that they didn't cheese out, because they cheese out so much. And to be honest, I think the number of the house was 18. I'm sure they figured out a way to do it, though. I just didn't notice it.
Oh, the columns in front of the house. Oh, look.
Oh, yeah.
11s. Wow.
Yeah, it's columns. Yep. And the house was a very vertical type of house as well. But there's so many flaws in this film. Let me see. I got some more notes.
Now,
here.
Joey, a good movie can be flawed, but this is no good movie.
Oh, you know what? When he's at the house, it's his first night there, and the chair that goes up the steps for his brother.
Yeah.
And he sees his burned kid on it. Now, another thing, and again, this is just me watching the film and just noticing stuff. I wasn't looking for it. I noticed it. And there's a scene when the chair is coming up the steps, that in the background, there is a hand almost caressing the light, like it's the hand of Jesus. And the hand is, there's light in the hand. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that's a fucking hand. It's like half of an arm holding up to this light, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. and then my notes are basically there's a hand reaching for the light, or the hand has light in it, much like Jesus would have. And it's just heavy on the religion. It's just way too heavy on the religion.
Jesus had nothing to do with this, my friend. Well, again, it wouldn't be too heavy with religion if it wasn't so ham-fisted and so over the top and so in your face.
Right.
And like you could have done this whole film. This could have been a good film in the hands of a competent screenwriter.
Right.
I mean, the direction's not bad. The actors, it's not their fault. Now, like again, that first night he's there, and all the scenes before it, every other scene is a cat in the closet scene.
Yes.
Every other scene is like he turns around. Oh, the father's standing right there. Oh, the guy's behind him.
Yeah, they did that a lot.
It's all there is. It's now also you mentioned when he first sees his burned son on the chair, which for me is the sign. Let's get out of the house.
Well, yeah.
You know what? It's the second or third time. It's the second or third time when he runs to the bathroom and takes pills.
Yeah.
This guy can't take pills without spilling half of them all over the place.
I know.
This is like genius acting 101. Okay, I'm upset and I'm frantic, so I take a handful of pills and I throw them in the direction of my face, spilling haphazardly across the floor. This indicates that I'm troubled.
Yeah, and you're right.
I blame the director, not him.
As soon as one thing happens bad, get out of the house. Why doesn't anyone get out of the goddamn house?
Yeah. Why does he go? I think it should have been a great short story. The short film's like, I'm not going.
Yeah, fuck this.
Bye, Dad.
It's just to derail very briefly. There's a new TV show called American Horror Story, which takes place in a haunted house, and a family lives there, and all this shit keeps happening. Now, it is a well-written show, and it's a well-acted show, and it actually is a good show. I can't see this show lasting more than one season, because at some point, your hardcore audience members that are watching the show are just going to say, just get out of the fucking house. Mm-hmm. Because that's all you need to do.
Leave the house.
Right.
Quick answer. And, I'm willing to suspend disbelief a little bit, but I've seen too many horror haunted house movies to give it any slack. Now, this isn't really a haunted house movie, but considering most of the horror takes place at the house, the people involved could assume that. Especially when the house is a rundown church.
Yes.
Now when he was at the hospital, he saw that guy, the crypt keeper stalker guy.
Right.
Was that scary?
No.
It's like a skull mask under a hooded robe. I mean that's.
Was there one or any scene in this film that genuinely made you go, "Oh, whoa! I didn't expect that," or just a little like jump at you kind of scene?
It actually startled me.
Yeah.
No.
There was one scene. It didn't startle me. It just made me laugh. It was where he's looking at the video, and there's the face on the video, and he's like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And then he goes for his pills, and he's all kind of crazy, and he gets up, and he walks, or not gets up. He goes in one direction and then quickly walks in the other direction, and there's the demon just like, "Bah!"
But yeah.
And then he falls over the desk, and he's just all fucked up. that it made me laugh. It was supposed to make me jump, but it made me laugh instead.
The way he landed too, like his neck was and his arm shut out. It was kind of like, you could have easily put over that.
Kind of like his hilarious landing when he got shot.
Yeah. Oh, and the jump cut, the jump cuts.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean the jump cuts?
Jump cuts. You notice the jump cuts, right? This director's technique, in order to try to make scenes feel tense,
right?
There were certain scenes where he would just do jump cuts.
I'm trying to think of what a jump cut is.
A jump cut is where it cuts, but with no real fluid adherence to the narrative. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Now I got you. I follow you now.
Like he's at the sink washing, and then it jump cuts to him standing in the doorway, and then it jump cuts to the rant.
Yeah.
Think of the opening to Deconstructing Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Jump cuts. Yeah, I mean now jump cuts. First year film school is jump cuts can work, but you have to make sure they work.
Right.
He uses them correctly as far as a director or an editor goes. He uses them correctly as far as they that's what they're for. But
right.
They don't work because that's what they're for. It's like, okay, you're using this because there's nothing else lending tension to this scene. It's not a tense scene. There's no atmosphere to this. It's horrible. So the jump cut is supposed to make us feel disoriented or tense, and it's not working because we know that's what you're trying to do to us. It's like if you tell someone, I'm going to scare you, and then you go, blah!
Did you, speaking of the director with the jump cuts and then doing things towards the film, did you notice the bad voiceover work that they did when the brother first comes home to talk to his brother that's in the wheelchair, Samuel?
Yeah.
Like they're doing the back and forth talking, and his voice is slightly different because it was recorded much later.
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice that?
They probably had bad sound when they filmed outside.
No. It was in the house.
Was it in the house?
And I don't think it was bad sound. I think we need to change what he says in this scene.
Oh. I don't know. Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah. There are a couple scenes in this. You could tell they had to retool this movie. Right. So the jump cuts.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think the jump cuts were a last minute addition because thinking about it now, Saw 3 also utilized jump cuts.
Yeah, it did.
But in Saw 3 they worked because the scenes already had that tension to them. The jump cuts just kind of added to it. Right. So I mean, you could look at Saw 3 and then look at this same director. Yeah. Here's where it works. Here's where you're grasping for straws.
Yeah. When they're in the, well, actually, go ahead.
When you said when the brothers talking and they're talking about, here's a shock. They start talking about God.
Yeah.
Again, the brother says religion is flawed. I'm thinking, not nearly as this fucking film is flawed. I mean, I wouldn't mention flaws in writing from here on out. Just don't. You're drawing. Isn't it funny now? You mentioned this. You mentioned the security cameras.
Yes.
Do you have any notes about that?
Well, yeah, actually, and mine are more techy.
Oh no.
As far as I know, recorded video, you can't zoom in and out like it's an actual camera.
Enhance.
Because what?
Enhance.
No, nothing like that. It was recorded video of one shot from outside the house. They had a handle, almost like a joystick, where they could go side to side, up and down, in and out, zoom in and out, as if the camera was on at that exact moment, like it was live. As far as I know, you can't do that to recorded video.
I thought they were doing that at first too, but I think the joystick was actually only being used to rewind and fast forward. But
that first shot has them go side to side and zoom in and out. It looked like it was a live shot, but it was really recorded.
No, you're
video.
right.
And again, it's just a techie thing by me, but it does point out to me, yeah, this scene is shit.
Oh, you know what would have been great? What if they had crossed
What's
this?
that?
What if they do a sequel to 11-11-11 and tie it in with Paranormal Activity 4, where they put cameras up on the 11th 11-11
No, what they should do is they should make a film called 12, 12, 12.
Oh, dude, they're already on it. Now, isn't it funny that, all right, first of all, don't you love how photogenic these ghosts and demons are?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
sure.
all I can think of is that ghosts just purposely fuck with the guys on Ghost Hunters. Like they can't see us. Ha ha. I mean, apparently all you need is like a cheap security camera, and you can see demons and.
Well, and not only that, but you could sell your footage for millions of dollars because you're the only fucking one that caught it.
Right, but we're not gonna. We're too worried about saving Samuel, who's in a wheelchair.
In a wheelchair.
Yeah, and the girl.
He's helpless.
And the girl who suddenly gets his phone number and starts talking to him and then flies into Spain. There's nothing mysterious about her.
No,
we shouldn't even concern ourselves.
Oh, she just happened to show up for no reason at all.
Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing.
I just, just a trip to Spain is what, a couple grand, $1,500. I just felt like coming.
I'm sure the fact that she said earlier that she met a man who convinced her that there is a fate and there is a destiny, and the fact that his brother has his own little weird cultish congregation of religious followers, I'm sure there's no connection there.
None.
But now I forgot where I was going. Oh, if they have to use the 11 11 11, if these demons have to use 11 as a signal, to communicate with us in this world, why do they need to do that if apparently they can show up on any fucking camera?
Right.
They can just go hey, over here, and there they are. We don't. Do we need to put 11s everywhere? How hard do they have to try to actually orchestrate the naming of things for the 11? I don't know. Oh, when they checked his heart rate at the hospital, shouldn't have been 11 over 11.
I don't think that. I don't think it could. That's a real reading.
But it still would have fit in.
The cheese factor, sure.
And the mother's grave, shouldn't that have been plot number 11?
Well, actually, in the background, they were able to get an 11 in there because they clearly show on the right side of the screen plot 47. So 4 and 7 is 11. So they made sure they got an 11 in that scene.
You sir, you're scaring me about how much 11 you noticed.
Dude, I wasn't looking for it. It was just, I'm like, there's 47 right there.
And
of course, the mother died November 11th of 1976. So it's just, it was on her tombstone right there. It's just like, okay, whatever. And I did look at the date that she was born and the date that she died, and I'm like doing some quick math in my head, and it didn't work out. But I'm sure if I did this number plus this number minus this number divided by this number, I'm sure it's all 11s in there. I'm sure they went through great lengths. I just haven't sat down with a calculator yet.
Why do I get the feeling you're going to?
I may. I just
may. Should post all the 11s you found on IMDb.
It's too many. It's way too many.
Now we've covered the first half of the film.
Just the fact that I took the time to really think about how many letters were in Joseph Crone's name, Samuel Crone's name, and Jesus Christ, all being 11.
Yeah, you gave it way more thought than I was willing to give it.
Well, and it's not that I was just like, oh, I wonder how many letters, and I was just saying, they just kept saying his name, Joseph, over and over and over again. And then I just kept, there was a scene in the film where he's at his desk, Samuel's at his desk, and it's in his house, but he's got a sign on his desk that says Samuel Crone. Mm-hmm. The fuck do you need that for?
Well, they're also pushing the biblical names, too. Joseph, Samuel. It's like, oh, really?
But, I saw Samuel Crone, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's 11 letters, isn't it? Because it was spelled out on the desk for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, fuck, it is. And then I was like, wait a minute. I bet Joseph Crone is 11 letters, so I just did that in my head real quick. And I was like, you know what? I bet Jesus Christ is 11 letters, too. And it fucking is.
And how many letters in Ronald Reagan?
Ronald Reagan? That's 13.
Just check it.
No, 12.
12? Okay. Now, but I say we gone to the first half. At this point, it just breaks down into, okay, we get it. Now we're just waiting for this shit to end. I at this point, I'm just jumping around in my notes. How about you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have I got more 11 stuff. Like even the actors, his sideburns are extra long.
Okay, stop with the 11s. Stop right there.
But
No.
It's something that I noticed. It's just like, wow, his sideburns are extraordinarily long.
No. Stop right there. You're done with the 11s because now you're really creeping me out. Now,
Yeah, actually, my note here says even his sideburns are long enough to represent 11s.
can I bring up another bad writing scene?
Go for
To
it.
distract from the 11s. Talking about the hitting over the head with the plot and the direction everything's going. He goes to
Right.
his brother's little congregation for church.
The sermon.
Yeah, the sermon, and they're like, "What's sacrifice? Sacrifice is important. Sacrifice.
Sacrifice, and then
what will you sacrifice?
for God? And then he looks at his brother. It's like
And I'm thinking,
that was at that point. That was when I was like, I kind of knew where it was going, and
I wonder if sacrifice will come up later in the film. I wonder
if
someone's being sacrificed.
Right, and I wonder if his brother will be involved.
I'm gonna throw a film out at you.
Okay.
Witchboard.
Witchboard. Sounds familiar.
Back when they started making all the Ouija board films.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I think it's the one I'm thinking of. I hope I have the name right.
Are you sure it's not Spellbound?
Is it Spellbound? Is that the one with
Is that the one with
the girl that he tries to protect her from the cult?
Yeah, that's Spellbound.
Yeah, Spellbound. Okay, which word is that?
That's with what's her face? John Travolta's wife was in that.
Yeah, because and that whole plot is like, oh, I'm saving her from this cult, blah blah blah, and like at the very end, the big twist is, oh, it was all a clever ruse to get him in this one spot so they could sacrifice him.
Right.
That's all I'm thinking of the last half hour. It's like, oh, really? I've seen this, and she was prettier. Yeah. Oh.
She's still good looking too. I don't know why.
Oh, when they start seeing the demons on the cameras, he's
Right.
finding like the prints in the yard, cloven hooves. Really?
Cloven hooves.
Really? We're going cloven hooves now?
Yeah, it was Kelly Preston, and she
You're
was
looking it up.
Spellbinder. I'm
Spellbinder.
sorry, Spellbinder.
Close.
I was. Wow.
Hey, closer than Witchboard.
That's right.
There is a film called Witchboard, though. It was back.
Oh, is it?
There was that one year they made all these.
Could it be the same plot?
I don't know, but it was that year when all the direct-to-video films started coming out with Ouija board movies.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what's also
It was
interesting?
like late 80s, early 90s.
Kelly Preston,
Yeah.
also in 52 Pickup.
Wow. Am I good or what?
Coming full circle, baby.
I'm such a film buff. It's subconscious when I pull shit like that. And yeah, cloven hooves, really. Also,
Yeah.
The father.
Mm-hmm.
Worst line of the whole film, because you can tell Mr. Buse or whatever the hell his name is. You can tell Mr. I directed Saw, so I can write horror films. He thought he was being clever. He thinks, oh, I'm being so clever. Because this is like a thing you put in the trailer, and it's like I'm talking to the audience at the same time so it's like a double thing, and it's so not clever. It's just sad. Is when the father like leans into the son and says, "Are you scared yet, son?" It's like, no, not even close, sir. Just go scare. I mean, and honestly, he was the father. Given the shitty dialogue and everything. He was good.
No, I watching this film, like, the father really ain't that bad.
And what's even worse is he comes to see his dying father.
Right.
And literally, he doesn't even go near him. And just every now and then the father pops up, like, I'm still here. I'm creepy as hell.
Not dead yet.
I'm creepy as hell. I deliver the dialogue.
But who saw him dying on 11/11/11?
Oh.
Who saw that coming?
I didn't see. Well.
And what was with the gold body bag?
See, I almost wrote that down, but then I thought maybe they actually used those in Barcelona.
In Spain? I don't think so.
I don't know.
You know what?
Maybe he was just wearing that when he died. He has an extra large gold lame.
No, wasn't it a gold body bag?
I thought it was like gold like sheet.
I thought it was. Well, it could have been
It was.
body bag or sheet. I thought it was a body.
It was
bag.
billowing, so it wasn't like rubber, like a body bag,
Right. But regardless, it was fucking
plastic.
gold.
It was gold lame.
There was nothing gold anywhere in the house. Anywhere.
And if it wouldn't be so jarring if the rest of the film wasn't so totally devoid of color. It's a very gray movie. Even when they're like in the maze, the green is kind of like a grayish green.
It's all muted colors.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, gold lame. It's like, okay, any seriousness that would have been brought to the screen by the father's death is completely wiped out by the garish sheet they have thrown over him.
Yeah,
it was the ambulance driver's first day on the job. Just cover him up. Okay, what's that? It was in the closet. Really? The gold lame? It was too late now. Jesus. Yeah, no. Oh, I have in my notes.
Oh,
Go
oh no, he ends up back at what's his face's place, the guy that keeps popping up. Yeah. Did you notice what time he got shot?
11:11.
5:42.
Oh, okay. No wait.
5 + 4 + 2 is
Wait,
11.
the second time he meets the guy with the gun. Wait,
Yeah.
When the guy points the gun at him and then runs away.
Yeah.
Which, now again,
he got shot at 5:42 p.m.
if we look at the logic of the character with the gun,
right.
the non-English speaking character with the gun, his actions in conjunction with what he knows and what's happening in the film, or is revealed later to be happening in the film, make no sense. He doesn't shoot anybody the first time. The second time he sees Mr. Crone, Joseph, he runs away. And then the third time, literally shoots him in mid-sentence. I don't have your BAM! Which was, when you asked me if there's a part in the film that startled me, that didn't startle me, but it gave me so much pleasure. I was like, yay! Where was this guy like the first 15 minutes of the film?
Right.
Bam! Right. And apparently gunshots aren't as like major as you might think.
No,
man,
he took it.
All they do is make you sleepy for a while.
That's right. He got shot, and that fall was hilarious.
And
he almost to the point of cartoon where he put his arms at his side and fell face first.
Well, because he had to hit his head on the chair, because if you get shot, that won't knock you out, but cracking your head on the chair is going to do it.
Right.
So being shot makes you sleepy. I'll get that. Great set design in that room. I'll give him that. The set design, great looking movie.
I don't even know if it was a great looking movie.
It was well shot to an extent. I mean, no, you know what? The set design was good. It was good set design. That's what I mean.
Did you notice when he was talking to his brother in? It was right before he gets shot. He's talking to his brother. They're doing the video thing again, and you just see floating 11s in the window.
No, I missed that part.
There's floating 11s, and it just kind of pans off to the left and disappears.
There were floating. I didn't see the floating 11s.
It was utterly ridiculous.
I missed that. Oh,
it was really what it was.
I think I was really getting tired at that point. I skipped in my notes. No one will be seated during the riveting hedge maze. I just any excuse for characters to walk and talk, because again, everything has to be delivered. Oh yeah, the only thing more riveting than a hedge maze scene is the discussion with the librarian scene.
Oh right. Oh, and his English was terrible too.
We need to communicate more in this film. We need to really, really, really explain this vague notion that still doesn't make any sense. So let's go to the library and spend 10 minutes with two characters discussing and explaining to each other made-up occultism. And then let's and just to make sure we're really underlining the logic that doesn't exist here, let's have our world-famous author go to the website where people post videos of themselves, video blogging about 11/11, and giving us more. Like,
something tells me if we could find those videos, if they truly made them, even for the film, they're all 11 minutes long.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying.
Do you realize? And it just occurred to me now, and I'm upset that it didn't occur to me earlier. That whole library sequence. How long did it take? 5, 10 minutes?
Something like that.
Just think, 10 minutes. It took 10 minutes for that film. The purpose of that entire setup was, and the whole video blog thing where the women are talking. That 10 or 12 minutes of screen time is all a setup. So at the end, he can knock that book off his brother's shelf and go, "Oh, he has that book. That's odd." Holy shit! That was a 10-minute setup for a logic scene. That, by the way, we all get it by that point. Any hints you give us by now, not really helping. We know how it's
Pretty
ending.
much.
We know how it's ending, but we're still here. We're still watching. The whole vine thing. What was with the vines?
Yeah, growing all through the house. When his brother almost gets killed by the chandelier, you see the two little hands in it, which was stupid.
Yeah.
And then as it falls, he pulls out the vine.
Again, we spend 10 minutes explaining how this one book on his brother's shelf is an odd thing to have. Do we have any occultists explain to us why vines would be invading the church? No, that's just atmosphere.
It's just gloomy.
What? I mean, and the most. Can we talk about the ending?
Yeah, and you know what?
I don't want to step on any notes that don't. I want to do the ending and be done with it. So you have any notes that don't have to do with the ending?
The only thing I have is when he looks at his laptop, he has a picture of his dead family as wallpaper. Probably not a good idea.
And even then, when he uses that as a light source,
yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, so they're the light of his life.
Right. They're helping him.
They're the
lead the way.
Oh man, dude, not even close to clever, just fucking annoying.
Yeah, but that's all I got actually. Other than at the very, very end scene, I noticed that they have pillars before it fades to black, and that represents an 11.
Oh sure, when he's standing between them, yeah. That whole like the end of the Omen scene, except not good.
Yeah.
Now, two things.
Okay.
If this guy is a world famous author, and he's written all these books, which means he knows about plot and that kind of thing.
He should have saw this coming.
How did he not see this coming?
Right.
These must be the dumbest books.
Nobody said he was a good author.
And they're all like 800. Every time they pick, great film logic. Like, oh, he's an author. And have you seen how thick these fucking books are? Everybody's like, oh, I've got your book's on the occult bookstore's got a copy of his book. You know, it's like, and it's thick as the stand.
Yeah.
And he's writing 2 of these a year. I mean, and they're like oversized paperbacks too. We're not talking like a pocketbook size. This is like a what is it called? Trade size paperback.
Trade size, thin paper.
Fucking thick. They got to be large print editions. That's all I have to say. And no one in this world has a Kindle.
Right.
Everybody's throwing these big hardcovers away. But all right, for you, most insulting part of the ending.
Most insulting part of the ending.
Did we ruin the ending? Did we have we ruined?
No, we can ruin.
We ruined it already.
Probably. Yeah.
I feel comfortable ruining this ending because honestly, if you see this film and you don't see the ending coming, you're not going to enjoy the film. I mean, you shouldn't. You should be watching something different. I don't know.
Right.
I feel a bit of a dick ruining the ending, but honestly, how blatantly obvious is the ending?
It's very obvious.
Right.
Very obviously. You know what? The most insulting for me is probably the fact that when he stands up,
the brother
out of that wheelchair,
the
brother, yeah, and he kind of stands over him, and he's just screaming, "Who are you? What are you?"
No. Before that,
what?
though,
What?
again, this is like the same problem I had with the American version of Let the Right One In.
Let me in.
No, well, that's the American version. Let me in, right?
Yeah. That's what you said. You had a problem with the American
version. Again, it's the excess verbiage. So the guy's laying there dying. He's been stabbed in the back. I think I'm dying. That's good. Thank you for letting us know, because I assume being stabbed in the back is a temporary. You took the bullet well, but I guess the
Right.
knife in the back's the final straw. And the way you're
Yeah.
laying can't be comfortable. So
No,
then
it's
the brother gets up. He's been in a wheelchair the whole time. We've assumed he can't walk. He gets up, and the man lying there dying takes the time to say, "You can walk." Glad you noticed.
you're walking.
Walking. Glad you noticed. Thanks for telling us. For
Yep.
for those of you in the audience who missed that, he was in a wheelchair. Now he's walking. And he does your thing where he says, "Who are you?" And I'm thinking, "I'm Batman."
Yeah.
He says, "What are you?"
I am the end. And then his eyes go like this
CGI black. Yeah.
CGI black, which looks really
Oh, it
bad
does.
too.
It does. Now, if they hadn't done the CGI thing with the eyes,
Right.
almost would have been a good scene. Almost. But like they had to do that one extra thing. Okay, now we have to let you know that he's not, that he's evil. Because up to this, now that we've heard all this, we had no idea. No,
Right.
I mean, now is that what so what is that what insulted? Oh, pardon me. I'm
It's
I'm
okay.
losing it. Is that what insulted you the most about the ending? Was that whole thing with the eyes?
Yeah. I mean, maybe the fade out scene to the church where she's smiling, the agent is there, he's smiling, and then they pan over to the brother standing, giving a sermon, and everyone's just like, "Hey, wasn't he in a wheelchair a couple of days ago?"
I don't know. That's part of the miracle, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Other than that, then yeah, that probably
Dude,
was the most
See,
insulting.
you know what insulted me the most
What's
was
that?
this film.
Being made?
No, the film. Now it's bad enough that this film thinks it's clever.
Right.
The film, after revealing the big reveal, which we all saw coming after the first 15 minutes of the movie, then proceeds to do the lengthy Saw. Okay, now let's show flashback recaps.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I completely forgot about that.
It's like, oh,
Well, where it explains to you, says, listen, since there are some of you that didn't predict this ending, we're going to show the entire backstory from beginning to end, put the pieces together for you, so that when we're done, you go, wow.
and the sad part is, it's bad enough that that's that, but when you realize that that's what they did at the end of every Saw film, it's like, oh, isn't
Right.
this adorable? He still thinks he's making good films. And and again, I'm sure some people don't think Saw is good films. Okay,
That is
it's
true.
adorable. He thinks he's revealing stuff to us that's kind of a shock. And if you go back to this,
You know what? I want to change my answer.
yeah, and it's bad enough that he did it. He does it for a solid 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's for a while. They really show a lot of footage.
20, well, because he does it for like a solid minute, and then like there's a pause. You're thinking, okay, fine. He's like, oh no, here's more. It's like, are we recapping the whole film? And just to add insult to injury, during this entire climactic ending, he's got the girl who we know is in on it. Thank you, right?
Right.
Running to get the film developed that he found in the camera of the guy that threatened to shoot his brother.
Right.
And this is going to reveal something. We're following her to the shop, and we're trying to build tension here with this. And then we get the tension, and you get to her looking at the photos, right?
Right.
Then the reveal is, oh, she's in on it because she's burning the photos.
Right.
They don't fucking show us what's in the photos.
You briefly see that it's just pictures of the goddamn windows
Briefly.
of the father's room.
Briefly.
That's all you really see as they're burning.
Not enough to even get an idea of, okay, why is she burning?
It was-
if they at least shown you why she's burning them.
No.
But they should.
No. No, they didn't even show that at all.
So it's
I think it was what they were going for with that was to
it's supposed to be a red herring. Yeah.
yes.
But here's
Yes.
my problem.
Those were the words I was looking for.
But for a red herring, if you're gonna spend 10 minutes of plot time and screen time building up this red herring, reveal it at the end. Show me what the fucking photo is. I mean, even when she's lighting it, I'm thinking, okay, and we're gonna get a close up as it burns. No. Okay, it's gonna zoom in on the pile and give us a close up as it burns. No. Okay, so we're not allowed to see what is so important that she had to burn them. Okay, I understand that. Fuck you. Fuck you, film. Fuck you.
Fuck you and your fucking
it's like the, you know what it is? It was the one moment where I actually had a curiosity. Think about it. Throughout the rest of this film, was there anything you were curious about? You were like, oh, I wonder if they'll explain this. There wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't. The only thing in this film suddenly that I have like even a mild curiosity about that I don't really know 100% was, I wonder what was on that camera. It's the only thing that I actually don't know. Everything else about this film, I know. I've predicted. It's been slapped in the face. I know. But I don't know what's on these pictures. And
how much you want to bet?
And I'm like, oh, here's the reveal. No. The one thing that you was actually curious about, we're not going to show you.
How much you want to bet when the DVD comes out, Blu-ray, one of the extras is going to be a slideshow of those pictures?
You know what?
How much do you want to bet that is going to be a selling point for this movie?
You know what those pictures are going to be? You take a guess. You know what they are? I can tell you exactly what they're going to be.
They're going to be... from what I saw, it just looked like there were pictures of the father's room, the windows. It looked like there was a lot of like crosses.
I'm telling you right now, every single one of those pictures is going to be a picture of writer-director Darren Lynn Bousman bent over with his pants pulled down with my toothbrush sticking out of his ass. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be, ha ha, and you've been, not only did we fuck you with this ending, but you've been brushing your teeth with that. So, okay, yeah, I can see that. That's seriously. What the?
No,
what?
Yeah, no, yeah. Hey, I think it's a perfect time for a quick break so you can read the terrible game and we can end the show.
My patience is between this and douche nozzle on the fucking internet. I can't take it anymore. Yeah, I got a headache. All right. We'll take a breather. I'll get the terrible game and we'll do that and wrap this up on a high note. All right.
Sounds good.
Oh, by the way, I just have to say, you do realize there's another film called 11-11-11, don't you?
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah.
It's the straight-to-video knockoff one.
Yeah. It's great because one has dashes and one has slashes.
Yeah. So fucking stupid.
I guarantee you the knockoff came out first and they were like, fuck, we can't use the slashes now.
I bet the knockoff's the better movie, too. Somehow, I bet the knockoff is the better movie.
The knockoff only has 2 stars. The theatrical one has 4. It might actually be the worst one.
Okay, then.
All right, let's take a break, and then we'll do the terrible game.